Jess here, and sorry I have to talk quiet because everyone's sleeping and I'm just the weirdo who is up late and my hair looks weird, but I don't really know what this video is going to be about per se, but yeah, I'm just going to talk, and I'm doing this on my phone, so I'm not really going to edit anything out because I'm lazy. So if this is really long and boring, just feel free to skip through it because it's probably going to be useless anyways. Since I'm really nerdy, I'm going to talk about my scientific theories. Actually, I'm afraid someone's going to steal my ideas. Oh well. You know how there is dimensions, like first dimension, third like 1D, 2D, 3D, like we're 3D in like our world, and like paper, like this would be two-dimensional. Okay. Well, here's for the nerdy part. It has been proven, or like theorized or whatever, that there are 9 dimensions total in our world, and we don't know what dimensions 4 through 9 are. Like, we know 1 is whatever 1 is. I don't really know what it is. I think it's like a line or something. But 2 is flat, and then 3 is like form, or like humans and stuff. Well, that's like basically what it is. So we don't know what 4 through 9 are. And I think that there are 9 separate universes, and we right now are in the 3rd universe. And when you are in a universe, like we're in 3, that means that you can see the ones that are above you. So we can see 3, 2, and 1. And since we're not in the 4th, we cannot see 4 through 9. And if you went to the 5th, say you went to the 5th, you'd be able to see 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You basically, my theory is that, I actually wrote this down once, I don't really remember what I wrote down, but I think that as you were created, and this probably interferes with religion, so I'm really sorry if you're like a religious person or not, or something, but I'm more of like a spiritual person. But my theory, I'm not saying this is fact, this is just completely something that I thought of on my side. There's no scientific evidence, and I'm not a scientist. Not yet. But I believe that when you are created, you start off in the 1st dimension, and over time you transcend or go up to a higher level from there. So you start at 1, you go to 2D, and right now we are at 3D. And I think when you die here, you transcend into the 4th dimension, which I think is ghosts, what we call ghosts or spirits. And I think the reason that we can't see them and we can't hear them, well, only sometimes, is because they're in a dimension above us, so we can't see them. But there are times when we can, because we're close enough to the 4th dimension, like the 3 and 4 right next to each other, so there are obviously some overlapping there. But I think that ghosts can see us because they're in 4 and we're in 3, so they like can look down upon us. So it's basically like a hierarchy, like 9's up here and 1's down here, and 9 can see all, 1 can only see just themselves, like 1 is totally unaware of anything else. And I'm not really sure exactly what 1 would be, and this is like the part of my theory that I'm not really sure of, is how the energy, because I believe that we're energy. That's what we are. We're energy in a body. So when you go into 4th, the energy that's in your body will transfer onto the 4th dimension and take some other form. So then I think, I'm not really sure about 5 exactly. I think maybe it might have something to do with time, and 6 might have to do something with time travel. And then I'm pretty sure, okay, I think 7 or 8 are to do with wormholes. Transferring, that's not it. I think that wormholes are like, each universe, each of the 9 universes, there are wormholes in between each. So when you die in the 3rd one, putting quotations around die because I don't think you ever die. But it's just a transformation. That's what death is to me. So I'm not afraid of it. But I think third, you would enter. Third, you go through a wormhole and you go into the fourth. That's basically what wormholes are. And this is kind of like string theory. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's basically like the whole 9 dimensions theory and wormholes and stuff. I think that the ninth is total transcendence. And what I mean by that is if you have ever seen the movie Lucy, I'm just calling it transcendence because that's, I don't know, that's just something, that's the word that comes to mind when I think of what I'm trying to describe. If you've seen the movie Lucy, at the end, when Lucy becomes a complete part of the universe, she accesses 100% of her brain capacity, and at the very end of the movie, she no longer exists. She exists, but she's completely a part of the universe. Like, there's nothing left of her but her energy, and she just completely absorbs into the entire universe. Sort of like the Buddhist theory of nirvana. But I think that the ninth is transcendence, when you become a part of the universe, and that's where everything basically stops. You don't go up any higher than 9 because you are just within the universe as a whole. Your energy just spreads out among the universe. And I think that you go from 1 until your ultimate goal is to get to that 9. And I don't know. This. I mean, this may seem really weird, but that's how things are like done in science. So yeah, I don't know. I've always had a huge interest in science, so like this is why my theory is like I'm not religious per se, but I do believe in a higher spiritual power. Like, I believe that, say, 9th dimensions would be the, like, divine entity, or whatever you want to call it. It's not really an entity because it's everywhere, but I think that 9 would be the divinance, or whatever you call it. And your ultimate goal would be to reach that spiritual level of 9. That's my scientific theory. I also have another one. This one's actually a lot more plausible, and it could actually be proved. Like, I mean, my string theory edition, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to call it 9-dimension transcendence. I don't really know what I'm calling it, but I think that my next theory. Completely disregard what I just said because I'm going on to my next theory. But my next theory called it interplanetal gravitational reduction. I was reading an article, and it said that Mars, they have proof that Mars once had an atmosphere, and this got me thinking, because if Mars once had an atmosphere, that means that they would have to have the right conditions for that atmosphere. So I was thinking, and I think maybe over time, okay, once again, not trying to disregard religion, but I am a science person and I have to think of things in logical terms. But I think that when I do think that, I mean, I'm not going to get deep into my religion, but I do think that I believe in both God, and I do believe in spirituality, and I do believe in science. I'm very, very confused at religion. I have completely my own developed beliefs. I do not let any sort of book define what I believe in or anything. But I believe that when the Big Bang happened, which is all of this universe was together, compacted, and it basically expanded out and created the universe. I think that when that happened, like, the planets originally were all very close to the sun, like the sun is our center, and the planets were closer to the sun because as the Big Bang happened, I don't believe it just completely exploded at once. I believe it was more of a slow process, and it's still actually ever going process. I still believe it's still expanding. And I believe that when millions and millions of years ago, the planets were closer to the sun because the gravity was stronger. The gravitational force was stronger, so the planets were closer to the sun. And this makes me think that all of the planets were moved closer so that Mars was millions of years ago where Earth is today. So because of that, Mars would have had the same atmospherical conditions and proper sunlight and everything like that it needs to sustain life. So I do think that Mars, at some point in time, did have life on it, and it did have an atmosphere, and it did have plants and animals and all that stuff that Earth has right now. I believe it was a lot like Earth because it was originally, well, not originally, but at one point in time, it was where Earth is now. And over time, the past like millions of years ago, I'm talking like hundreds of million years ago, it slowly, the gravitational pull from the sun slowly reduced, causing the planets to spread farther away from the sun, thus causing Mars to go out of that sweet spot where Earth is. The sweet spot is meaning like where you need have the perfect conditions, the perfect sunlight conditions, and space location to have light. And so I think Mars moved out of that sweet spot, and Earth was moved into that spot where Mars originally was. And since Mars was no longer in the right spot, it lost its atmosphere, all life died on it, and it became a barren wasteland like it is now. And I think Earth is the new Mars. And I believe in millions of years from now, if our sun doesn't die first, I think that the, I don't know, order of my planets of Venus or something, Mercury, whatever one, okay, I honestly, I can't think right now, but, the next planet that is in closer to the sun from the Earth, and then the next planet, that planet will eventually move to where Earth is, and Earth will be the new Mars right now. Mars is right now. Yeah, and so I think that it's just going to, over the next, like, thousands and thousands of years and millions of years from now, the gravitational pull from the sun will just completely like, keep reducing, and the planets reducing, and the planets will get further away from it. And obviously our sun is going to eventually die. That's like a known thing that stars die. And I don't know what will happen first, if all the planets will be so far away from the sun because of the gravity is low, or if the sun will die first, but whatever. So that's like basically what I'm saying, is that Mars was where Earth is now because of gravitational reduction. Mars has moved past and lost its atmosphere, and Earth is the new Mars. This probably sounds really stupid. It probably sounded a lot better in my head, and I'm not really good at explaining things in terms of other people understanding them. I mean, I have pretty off-the-wall things that I think about. I'm obsessed with physics and chemistry. It's an obsession. I think I might make another one of these videos, like a part 2 or something. And if you're watching this, and that's pretty dang cool if you're actually listening to my scientific ramblings, because no one ever does. My sister doesn't get it, my mom doesn't get it, my dad doesn't get it, my dog doesn't even get it. So they just all ignore me, because they don't like my science talk. I like my science talk, so that's why I'm talking to a camera. Well, I'm probably gonna make part 2, so see you later.